Okay, so the next short lecture is 9.3. Again, these are all really quick ones. We've done some stuff with numbers. Now we're being specific to telling the time. And again, it's really easy because a lot of it follows how we say it in English. So it's basically the same thing. We're just figuring out how to put it on the hand. So the goal of the entire chapter is to look at how we tell the time. Something simple as that. And we always, same as English, what's the hour? If it's just that, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever. If it's hour with minutes, 9:45, how do we do that? Really, it's simple. Big thing I want to say is you just, to make sure that they know that it's a time reference, touch your watch. Even if you're not wearing a watch, you touch your wrist. So 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And usually you're touching with your index finger, and it's not down. It's usually facing forward because you're setting up the number. And that's basically it. So it's boom, hour number, minutes. And you don't have to say minutes. You just have to say 9:45. Okay. So we will look at both of them, and there are examples, plenty of examples and exercises to practice this. The book itself, the DVD, has a long section, a long video where she's signing an explanation of how to do this. So you can just watch that. I've broken it up so that you can do it sort of sequentially. But again, it's not something that I need to teach in here because the book explains it really clearly. And you've had that with you the whole time. The vocab, just a couple of different ones. There's leave or leave. So to depart from, to leave. So you kind of get smaller as you go off into the distance, right? So leave or leave. And if you're left-handed. Arrive, or reach at. Sometimes the English that they use in the book is just very odd. So begin or start. So you put your key in the ignition and twist it. Start. So we're talking about anything that has to do with time. So it starts at, or it ends, or ends. So finishes or ends. So class ends at some time, at 8:50. But it may finish at 8:55, right? Arise from bed. There are two different ways. There's get up, which means get out of bed, right? Or there's wake up. So either one for in the morning, wake up at time, right? Go to bed, boom. So this is go to bed as in here's the person going into the bed with the blanket on top. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to bed. Or you could go to bed. Bed. Go to sleep. So any of those. And asking what time. Now, we've seen this for when in the past. When. So you circle the clock face. And that's a generic. When was the War of 1812? 1812. And you could use this when is class. But more specifically, what time class start? What time is class? What time class start? Okay. So it's that you're asking a WH question, right? You're not asking a yes, no question. Is it time? Well, I suppose you could be asking that question. Time? Or what time is it now? Okay. So time, class start, time, work, finish. So, and again, it's a WH question. So now we start. She's going to go through and give hand shape references and, which way the palm should be facing. So her explanation is really clear. I'd just be copying what she signs. So, and she's prettier than I am. So always watch her. So then I go through and I just included all of the examples they give. And then once they stop giving examples, you can just do it on your own. Because they're all basically the same thing. 1 through 9. Since 1 through 9 are static hand shapes. And you can do you can do that rule of 9 where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? 9 o'clock. Or time 9, the more generic form, 7, 6. Then when we get to 8, 9, we get to 10, then again we separate like we did with the rule of 9, like 2 weeks or 2 weeks. Then we go 10 weeks or 10 weeks. So they have to be separated. So the same thing with 10 through 12 is time 10, time 11, time 12. And usually we go time 11 because we see that motion. It's clear that's 11. Some people still do sign 11, 12. The book says to do it once. That oftentimes is very confusing. So in Ohio, I tend to see people go, or 12, because this is really clear. It's a O to 2, 12. Right? So 10 to 2. So 10, 11, 12. So she shows both variations on those. Then when we're going to do the numbers, you just do the hour 1:05. Every time it's 05, like we've done with other numbers, you need that 05. You wouldn't know 115 because that we don't know what that means. Could be 150, could be 105, could be 1500 hours. So time 1:05. And there's a little boom, pause on that number, leave the hour, and then give the minutes. Even a little drift to the side. 05, 1:05, 2:10, 2:10. Okay. 3:15. So 4:20. Anyway, literally all you're doing is you don't need an example. 3:15, 4:20, 5:25, or 25. So just practice through these. In class, I have dice that we can roll, and I usually just pass them around and say, roll it, sign what the number is, then pass them on to the next person, and it's just a way of practicing. So that the best thing I can do is say to just practice those numbers because you already know the numbers. Now you're just putting them in a certain order. Now we're talking about the span between from 9:30 to 12:30, or start time 9:30, finish time 12:30. And oftentimes you will see people sign 2 because it's a line to this point. So it's from here to here. Now, notice what I did is I didn't do each single one with this. Once I've established we're talking about times, you don't need to keep reiterating it. The same reason why we use pronouns, right? You don't have to keep saying the person's name. That we can say him, her, it, the dog, my dog. Where is my dog? Where is it? He's an odd dog. Sometimes he's just an immovable object that just, well, he's a chihuahua, so he goes and shakes. So I don't know. So the same reason why we use they, he, she, like pronouns. We don't have to keep repeating the time sign. Once we've established so I always kind of do, it's always column here, start time, finish time. Once we've established that we're talking about years, once you've established it, you don't have to keep repeating it. Once you've established we're talking about money, you don't have to repeat money, 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 money. Once we've established that we're talking about time, you don't have to keep repeating it because we know each time we see a number now, it's going to be a time reference. And now, the book now has a middle school math class where They want us in class to say, if a train leaves at 2:15, at what time will it arrive? At, if it takes, or, if it arrives at 2:45, how long was the train trip? That kind of thing. And it's really silly, and we usually just jump over it. But I will usually in class ask questions like, how long is your ASL2 class? Or how long was your biology class? What time did it start? What time did it end? What are the different ways you can say things? You can say that it started and ended this time. You could say it started and was 40 minutes long. You can say that, you could just say that the class is 40 minutes if you don't do start or end time. You could do it's 40 minutes and ends at 3 o'clock. So all the different ways we can say it in English, just think about that and try to sign them. Because we know each one is applicable in different situations because you're trying to communicate different ideas. So there are videos in here that in a little bit that will go through a bunch of examples and you can watch and emulate them. This is something we would normally hand out where that's here, all. I'm going to change that text color because that is awful. Hold on. Sorry. I should pause this. Okay. Well, that's a picture. So I can't change it. So I can't make it black. I'll have to retype it. Yeah, that green text is awful. Anyway, so normally what we do is go around and we'd interview each other. Groups of 4 people or groups of 3 people, and you would fill in one column for yourself. And then find out, ask the questions, what time do you get up? So here's a chance to practice what time do you wake up? Remember, eyebrows are down because you're looking for information. It's not a yes or no question. What time did you leave home today? Now remember, like we talked about with sentence structure, today you leave home what time, right? So we'd start with the time reference. Today, home, you leave what time, right? So go through, don't forget the stuff we've done in the past with grammar. Typically, sometimes you'll do approximate time, or every day, start work every day, what time? Every day. So you could use that instead of typically. And then here's an exercise to write the times. This comes out of the book. So I will put the answer down below. And there is a bunch of them. This one that's got 20. I think it's got 20 of them. Yeah. And then here's the vocab again. So again, I just spoke for probably longer than it would take to teach it in the classroom. And then we would just practice until the class ends. But really, it's all stuff we already do. And again, it's exactly what we do in English. And we're just sort of getting used to how it feels in the hands. There are exercises from the book. And I included the vocab review. Depending on how much this slows it down, if people are complaining, what I'll probably do is I'll probably just take out and include a separate one, maybe take out some of these if it's slowing things down. So the follow-up, the homework from the book is filling in, going from the video and filling in, there's an activity or a place that's referred to, and then a start and end time or 2 times made reference to. So if you do that, and then I put the answers in each one. So make sure you know what the answer is before you move on to the next slide. So really challenge yourself, make sure you're understanding the videos. But again, this was a short one, and it's really just applying time. And we always always establish that it's a times. These are going to be time signs that we're talking about. So 1 o'clock, 1:30. All right. Cool.